Okay, so Radhika is the questioner, and there is a reference for her question. It's on meditation. So she heard in Swamiji's lecture and also in Bhagavad Gita class in Detroit about meditation. So her question is, what does meditation is the means to attain self realization mean? Does it mean we are not supposed to be doing meditation now until enlightened, or are we doing it incorrectly? Is that your question, Radhika?
That's correct.
All right. See, you need to understand the basics for this question. So, what is spiritual path? What does it mean when we say I want to evolve spiritually? What exactly it means? How to go about achieving that goal? What is the science of spiritual evolution? So, at the end of each Bhagavad Gita, we chant Brahma Vidya. That's the word they use. The science of spiritual evolution. So, it's a science. Just as if you want to get PhD in chemistry or any subject, you have to approach it systematically. You get my point? You cannot straight away apply for your thesis in chemistry when you are at a very beginning level. When you are in high school, you can't think of PhD in nuclear physics. So there is a system. We have to approach it systematically. So similarly, what is it which makes us unspiritual? It is our desires. So when you you eliminate all your desires, you merge with supreme reality, which is your original nature, which is my original nature. That's what we are, that truth, that divinity. But what blocks that divinity is our desires. You understand? So, therefore, being spiritual means, to begin with, we have to work on removing our desires. We have to purify our desires to begin with, then reduce the quantity of our desires. And when all the desires are eliminated, you merge with that truth, you merge with that reality, which is a state of self realization or God realization. So, we often give this theorem in the class: human being minus desires equals truth or divinity. So, now the question is, how do we go about removing these desires? Step by step, I am trying to explain to you. So, desires are at three levels of our personality: body, mind, and intellect. So, at body level, at physical level, we have desires for action and perception. Perception is senses. Senses want to contact the world all the time. At action level, you want to acquire, enjoy. That's what we mean at physical level, body level. Then there are desires at the level of the mind, feelings, emotions. Then there are desires at the level of intellect, ideas, ideologies. You want to be honored, all egocentric desires. So, desires are at physical, emotional, and intellectual level, or body, mind, intellect level. So, how do we remove these desires? That is where the science of spiritual evolution comes in. So, Upanishad and Bhagavad Gita, they give three traditional spiritual practices: Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Jnana Yoga. Karma Yoga is at the level of the action, Bhakti Yoga is path of devotion, and Jnana Yoga is path of knowledge, because our desires are at three levels. You get it? So, how do we remove desires at three levels of our personality? Through these three spiritual practices, three spiritual yogas: karma yoga, bhakti yoga, jnana yoga. So, what is karma yoga? Whatever you are doing, you do it in a spirit of service and sacrifice. Whatever action you are doing, your own profession, if you are a doctor, work in the spirit of service and sacrifice rather than just trying to fulfill your personal egocentric desires. So it doesn't matter what you do, you function with this attitude unselfishly, with the attitude of service and sacrifice. That is path of action, that is karma yoga. Devotion is nothing but surrender, that understanding that I am just a spoke in the wheel of life. There is higher power above all of us, which we don't understand at this moment. So we surrender to that higher power. We surrender to the knowledge of the scriptures, which tell us about that higher power, what is the science of living. So that is devotion, that is surrender. And Jnana Yoga is knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, knowledge of Vedanta, which tells us how to live life. What is the purpose of our life? So, Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Jnana Yoga. So, your life revolves around these three spiritual practices. That is your life. There cannot be life apart from service, devotion, and knowledge. So, when you start putting systematic efforts at action, emotion, and intellect level, slowly but surely you will find that your desires are reducing, and also the quality of desire improves. Right now, what is happening to all of us? Quantity of desires is too much, inundated with desires at all levels, and also the quality is not very good. Most of our desires are selfish, egocentric desires. So, through karma yoga, bhakti yoga, jnana yoga, your quality of your desires improves and the quantity of your desire drops. And then you reach a state called uparati. Can we have the chart, please, Radha? It becomes very easy with this. Yeah, there you go. So, karma yoga, bhakti yoga, jnana yoga, which we discussed just now. So, when bulk of your desires are gone, meaning quantity has reduced to a great extent, and also the quality is far superior, quality of your desires. That state is called as uparati, withdrawal. You stay put where you are, but you function in the spirit of service and sacrifice, in the spirit of renunciation as opposed to attached and being possessive. When you have desires, you are full of attachment, that I, my, possessiveness because of your desires. But when you reach a state of uparati or withdrawal, you function in the spirit of renunciation at home, at work, wherever you are. And as you continue your spiritual journey, you reach a state called dharana, main concentration or contemplation. Your goal, the ultimate goal of self realization comes into sharp focus. Right now it goes, comes, isn't it? For all of us. But since you have offloaded the bulk of your desires, you are able to concentrate, you are able to contemplate on your goal. And as you continue, you reach a state called dhyana. And dhyana means meditation. That is your question. So, what is that state of meditation? Dhyan. Dhyan is the correct word. That all your desires are gone. Only one desire is left. What is that desire? Desire to merge with Supreme Reality. All your desires, they have converged to a single pointed thought. And what is that last thought or last thoughts or desires, you can say, is the thought to know the truth, to merge with the reality. So that is a state of meditation. So in meditation, that last thought is removed. You understand? So now your question is, who can practice meditation? Anybody can practice meditation as long as he has reached the state of meditation. Meditation is not a practice, that is the misunderstanding. Meditation is a state. By wanting to practice meditation, you cannot practice meditation. By wanting to do PhD in quantum physics, you cannot do PhD in quantum physics. Are you at that level? If you are at that level, then definitely you should do PhD in quantum physics. So therefore, what you need to understand is meditation is a state. It is not a practice. And whoever has reached that state, automatically he will meditate. So every step you take in the spiritual path takes you towards meditation. So the focus has to be on karma yoga, bhakti yoga, jnana yoga, on reducing your desires, because meditation is the cumulative effect of all your efforts. So that's the state of meditation. Can we meditate now? So if you are at that state, yes, you should meditate. So you must ask yourself, where are you at this moment? Or should we meditate only on reaching self realization? Self realization is beyond meditation. Self realization is a state of thoughtlessness, desirelessness. So in meditation, that last thought is removed. So therefore, we say meditation is means to the state of self realization. You get it? So if you master that chart, which we projected just now, it doesn't need any explanation. So it all depends. Each one is at a different level of spiritual evolution, but most people, they have not even started their spiritual journey. Such people, due to ignorance, due to misguidance, they try to meditate. So I mean, you can try, but how can you meditate if you understand the science? Have you reached at that state? Are you at that state, at that level of single pointed thought? So this is the basic explanation. So what is your question now? Radhika, you need to unmute yourself.
Yeah, I think then why, I read everywhere, to, avoid stress, they say you should meditate and
Everywhere meaning
mindfulness
where? Who? Uber
in art,
driver is
in
telling you, your
articles,
neighbor is telling you,
in
where?
articles in general.
See, this is a Upanishad and Bhagavad Gita study class, the highest scripture we are discussing. Are scriptures telling you, or your friends telling you, or on WhatsApp people are telling you? It's like you are attending medical class in Harvard, right? Don't take it personally, and you are quoting, this is what people are saying. What will your professor tell you? You are in a medical class right now. Who's saying that? Are scriptures saying that?
No.
Then what are we discussing here? In Bhagavad Gita, chapter 6 is called as Dhyana Yoga. Dhyana Yoga means yoga of meditation. If you read few verses that you don't have to, he gives conditions, prerequisites to do meditation: having controlled your senses, having mastered your mind, having developed your intellect, having no value for what the world has to offer. Then you should, then such a person automatically takes to meditation. So it's a very high state.
Mm.
The person is on the verge of self realization. So that's the science of meditation. Now you need to think whether you want to follow scriptures or whether you want to follow what ignorant people are saying. So you decide. I mean, this is a class on Bhagavad Gita and Upanishad. This is what we study. So you decide. That I can't. It's not my jurisdiction. Do you want to follow the traditional knowledge of Vedanta, which is Bhagavad Gita and Upanishad, which is the science of spiritual evolution, or you want to follow ignorant people who have no clue of what is meditation? So you decide. I explain to you
Mm-hmm.
with that chart: Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Jnana Yoga.
Right.
You reach a state of renunciation, withdrawal, mental withdrawal. You remain in the world, but you function with that attitude. Doesn't make any difference to you. The best of things, worst of things happen. I mean, have we reached that state? And then you continue, you become contemplative, which is dharana. Whatever you do in day-to-day life also, there is 100% concentration. That is that state. Your day-to-day goals as well as your spiritual goal, it comes into sharp focus. It stays there with you. That is dharana. And after dharana comes dhyan, and dhyan means meditation. That's the correct word for meditation. So meditation is nothing but your mind is focused on a single thought to the exclusion of all other thoughts. This is the definition of meditation, dhyan. Meditation is when your mind is focused on a single thought. What is that single thought? The thought of supreme reality, to the exclusion of all other thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
No other thoughts, desires are bothering you. Why? Because they are gone. How can they bother you? And that too under the supervision of the intellect. So the mind is single pointedly focused on the thought of supreme reality. That's what that chant Om represents. And intellect is observing that chant. And if you keep it going, after a while, that last thought also eventually dissolves. That is when you merge with the supreme reality. This is the science of meditation explained in Bhagavad Gita and Upanishad. Now you decide what you want to follow. I'm not saying you follow Bhagavad Gita Upanishad. If something else inspires you, I mean, you're more than welcome to follow that. But being a Vedanta teacher, my obligation is to educate all of you on what scriptures are saying.
Thank you.
So, does that answer your question?
Yes.
You think about it. It will
Mm-hmm.
not answer. One explanation will not. And I don't blame you. Well, you're bombarded with do meditation, do meditation. How can you accept what I'm saying? If I were you, I wouldn't accept myself. It's like going against everybody. It's a cry in the wilderness. There are no takers for this. So is group okay with this concept? All right. Now there is question 2 by Radhika. So the question is about study time and e-learning. Why are they insisting that you need to study close to 5 a.m.? That is impossible for me as I leave for work at 6. So should I consider e-learning only after retirement? This is Radhika's question. Correct, Radhika?
Yes, that is correct.
Yeah. So why we scriptures they suggest that you should study in the morning. It is 4 a.m. to 6 a.m. in the morning. So that time is called as Brahma Muhurta. Brahma Muhurta meaning your mind is absolutely calm during that time, and also the environment is very calm. So I mean, this is something you can experience. When you get up in the morning, you are relatively fresh. Even a highly disturbed person, he is relatively fresh in the morning, isn't it? And also the surrounding environment is very conducive. You know, the world hasn't woken up yet. So therefore, they recommend it's a sattvic time, the Brahma Loka, Brahma Murta. So it's conducive for your spiritual study, for study and reflection. And as sun rises, approximately whatever time, 6:30, 7, as the day starts, then your mind starts getting busy with what should I do, what I have to plan for the day. All the thoughts, all your desires, they start manifesting. So it's not conducive for study and reflection. And after 7 o'clock, they call it tamasic time. Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas. These are three mental textures. So the sattvic nature, which is everybody has that, which is conducive for study and reflection. So that sattva in you will manifest early in the morning, number one, and also the environment around you is conducive for study. So therefore, it is called as Brahma Muhurta or Amrut Bela. That's what they call it in North India. And after sun rises, all your Rajasic tendencies they will manifest. I have to do this, I have to do that. Busy, 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 busy. And after 7 o'clock, 7:30, whatever, all our tamasic qualities they come up. Indulgent, wine, woman, gambling, that's what. All these are like tamasic qualities. Every person has that. They come up. So therefore, we say morning time is highly conducive for spiritual study. But your question is valid. I mean, I understand that. I mean, will you give up your job and study? It's not possible. So this is ideal. So
Okay.
that does not mean you should not study in the evening. You get it. It is ideal. But if due to whatever reasons you cannot do that, I mean, better study. It doesn't matter at what time. So in that case, it is okay to study whenever you feel you can. It could be 6 o'clock, it could be 6:30, but you need to understand the concept that
Mm-hmm.
why scriptures are telling us to study early in the morning. So at some stage of your life, you will put efforts, and it's not difficult. There are so many working people here. In fact, most of us, everybody is working. I mean, I would say 70 to 80% of them they are able to do that. But if it is not practical for you, then evening is okay, and you can make an attempt to study in the morning on weekends. That is in
Right.
your control. So that could be the starting point. Saturday, Sunday. I mean, Monday to Friday is difficult. I mean, where is the time? You need to get ready. If you have young children, then you need to take care of their food and all that. So I understand that. So weekends could be the starting point for you, Saturday, Sunday. And again, keep a realistic target. I mean, if we get up at 4:15, so it is unrealistic. So you could aim for 5:30, which is realistic, or even 6 o'clock to begin with. Why not? You know, so that is the good could be the good starting point. And also, whenever you get a break, when you go on a vacation or you take a break from your work for a few days, so that time if you keep it as your target, then slowly you will get used to it. And once you get used to it, then it will inspire you to get up as early as possible, because by your own experience you will know that there is no comparison. How when you study reflect in the morning, early morning, and when you reflect when you study in the evening, it's like chalk and cheese. There is no comparison. So once you get a taste of that, it will motivate you. And your second question is, should I do it after retirement? Now, what is Bhagavad Gita? Bhagavad Gita is instructions manual for life. It teaches us how to live life.
Right.
So I'm rephrasing your question. I mean, nothing to do with you. Don't take it personally. Should I learn how to live life after I have lived my life? I mean, has it got any meaning? Traditionally, this knowledge was taught in a Gurukula system to the youth from the age of 8 till 15, 16. That's the ideal time. So by that parameter, I mean, we all are outdated. We all are too
Right.
late. But at least better late than never. You know. So Bhagavad Gita Upanishad or the philosophy of Vedanta, it is referred to as instructions manual for life. So how can you live life? How can we all live life? Without this knowledge, it's not possible. You will not be able to relate to your spouse, you will not be able to manage your children, you will not be able to manage your finances, you will not be able to manage your work, nothing. That's the science of life and living. And what's your purpose of your life? What is the purpose of your life? At a young age, somebody has to tell that to us. That's the philosophy of Vedanta all about. So don't worry about the time at this stage. Now, what matters is at least you're studying. So does that answer your question?
Yes. Thank you.
Question number two.
Yes.
Is group okay with this? Do you need any clarifications? I mean, do you need any more inputs? All right. Next question. Yes, Vijay, please read your question.
Reference is Amitji's class mentioned during one of the lectures in Bhagavad Gita. If you serve one person, you serve the entire world. Can you please explain, Amitji?
If you serve one person, you serve the entire world. So Swamiji often makes this statement. Those who are doing e-learning, perhaps you could have heard there, right? But during my time in the academy, I mean, on an average, once in a month, we used to hear this statement from Swamiji. You serve one person, you serve the entire world. So that's your question. All right. So the statement is made in the context of close relationship. You could take it as husband and wife or any close relationship. It could be in your workplace. But let's talk about spouse. So that is where it is more pronounced and applicable. Now, why Swamiji is saying that? Because that service and sacrifice for your spouse, for that for your partner, is now in the present. World now, when are you going to serve the world? You may not get opportunity, and does world need your service? Is the question. So therefore, you have to serve your spouse. You have to function in a spirit of service and sacrifice now. By now, we mean it is in the present. It is 24/7. It is 365 days in a year. You get the point. You're married. So therefore, Rajesh should note down this. 24/7. If it becomes 23/7, call me. We will I will handle him in my own way. 365 days in a year. If it becomes 364 days, call me. And when I talk to him, he will understand what is meant by that statement. Otherwise, he will not understand. So serving world and others is in the future. If I get opportunity, or in the future I will serve the world, others, when is it going to happen? Mostly no. And even if you do that, it could be once in a while. And also, you're not tested there. Even if you like function with that attitude, at your workplace or wherever, it's not the true test. Why it is not the true test of your service and sacrifice? Because in a close relationship, if your partner does not cater to you, that is where your real personality will manifest. See, otherwise, what's the big deal? I say that I love my partner, I care for her or him, whatever. But if catering stops at physical, emotional, intellectual level, then the true personality will be exposed, my true personality. And that is possible only in a close relationship, because you are 24/7, 365 days with that person, and it's not easy. So therefore, it's a very profound statement. So in a close relationship, service is always one-sided. You serve even if catering stops. That is true relationship. As long as your partner is towing your line, whatever you say, he or she is going with that. What's the big deal? When all that stops, catering stops at physical, emotional, intellectual level, will you still serve your partner? If yes, that is true service. So therefore, it is the ultimate test of your unselfishness. 24/7, 365 days in a year. And if you have this attitude, this unselfishness, whatever role you play in the world, you will serve. You get the point? Because that's what you are. You are nothing but a bundle of service and sacrifice, functioning with that attitude 24/7, 365 days in a year. So, how can such a person not function anywhere in the world, whatever role you are playing at work, when you interact with people, wherever? How can you not function without this attitude? You get it. Otherwise, when you a lot of people, they go out in the world to serve. It's not that they are fake, but that's not your test. You don't face that opposition. At home, you could face that opposition, quite a bit. And when you face that opposition, when you're not catered to, that's what it means. Then the real me comes out, the real nature comes out. And also, your interaction with the world is brief. One could put on that act, and you can get away with that. Once in a while you interact, on the weekends you go do some seva, service, you volunteer, a few hours you spend on the weekend. But at home, 24/7 you are volunteering. You get it? So therefore it is the ultimate test. So therefore it is said, if you serve one person, you serve the whole world. And it's not easy. There is no doubt about that. Otherwise, it could be a show off. That's not real you. See, lamp just burns. The lamp I am talking about, the candle, just keeps on burning. It gives light even if there is just one person. The whole world comes, it will give light. Nobody is in the room, still it will give light. So even if you don't serve anybody, still you could be serving the world, as long as you have that attitude of spirit and service and sacrifice. You get it? Because that's you. You may not get opportunity to manifest your unselfishness, but whenever there is opportunity, if that's your real nature, that's what will come out. That attitude of service and sacrifice, that unselfishness will manifest. This lamp is a good example. It just keeps on burning. That wick represents ego. So service and sacrifice is you are burning your ego all the time. So develop spirit of service and sacrifice when?
24 paisa.
Which is now. So when you do that, then what are you doing?
Working in service and sacrifice.
Are you not serving the whole world?
Yeah.
Through that one person, through bunch of people, doesn't matter. Otherwise, all in the future. I will do this, I will serve the world, serve your wife, serve your husband, serve your organization, serve your community, you know. So we are having this public lecture in November, Jigar, Radha, yeah, 11th and 12th or whatever the dates, it doesn't matter, in Detroit. And somebody is designing banners, flyers, and whatever all this, whatever we need for lecture promotion. One of our students from the academy, he finished the course and now he's in UK, young guy, and he's struggling there, is trying to find a job, and also he's helping us because he's an artist. So he designed all these banners and posters and whatever. And just before the class, he sent me the invoice because we don't want anything free. We all are trying to help him. So he sent me the invoice for X amount of money, whatever. So I texted, for argument's sake, let's say he sent me invoice for $500. I'm just giving you figure. I texted him saying, please send me the invoice for $1,500. It's exactly 3 times. So he asking me why? I said, have you not heard Swamiji 100 times that life is to give? So I'm trying to implement that in my life. So please don't prevent me from doing that. See, otherwise it's all talk. When I could be talking, life is to give and service and sacrifice. And if I can't serve that boy who has worked so hard, and those who are working, all the volunteers, they know what efforts he's putting, amazing uh, artist is. So if we as a group, if we can't serve him through public lecture, are we going to serve the whole world? Forget the whole world. Are we going to serve the community for which the lecture is organized? We want free from that boy, serve him. If you serve him, you will serve the whole community through the lecture. Otherwise, it's a farce. Everybody goes there. I also go there, nicely dressed, dressed, properly ironed, and all that. Life is to give, ladies and gentlemen. Am I giving? So what service? So that spirit, Vijay.
Hmm.
So you must understand in what context it is made, that statement. So just one person, group of people with whom you are interacting on day-to-day basis, serve them. And then if you get an opportunity to serve the world, incidentally, you will serve. I mean, it's not going to make any difference to you. If you cannot serve one person, if you cannot serve your organization, your own community, even if you get an opportunity to serve the world, you will mess up. And this is what we find happening most of the times, if not all the times. People misuse everything, power, money, and all that, because the nature has not changed. At home, same nature. When the same people they start functioning at a different level, same selfishness will come out, will manifest. In Bhagavad Gita, I don't know, the chapter 17 or 18, he talks about dhanam. Dhanam means giving, charity. So, Rajasic charity, Rajasic Dhanam, selfish people, they talk about, I will give in the future. I will do this. I will do that. Let me become multimillionaire. $500,000 is for Vijay. I will not give you a dollar even if I have $10 million. That's not me. You get the point. Sattvic person, Sattvic Dhanam says whatever has to be done, it is done now. It's fascinating. So that spirit we are trying to capture through that statement. You serve one person, you serve the whole world. If you cannot serve one person, it's a mockery. Any talk of service sacrifice is a mockery. What is the question now, Vijay?
No more question, Amitji. Clear.
Better not have any questions. I will get the feedback and then I will answer you in future. Next question, please. So, Uncle Mohesh's question references Mundako Upanishad, chapter 3, section 1, mantra 2, last paragraph, last 3 lines. The remedy lies in turning introvert. How to turn introvert? Please guide and explain. So, Radha, can you read that portion, please? Read the commentary for that entire mantra. Dvasoparna, that's the reference.
The metaphor of the two birds given in the previous mantra is herein elaborated. The bird that eats the fruit and the bird that looks on without eating. The one that eats represents the individual, ignorant and deluded, the extrovert who suffers mental agitation and sorrow, who feels a sense of impotence in life. When this bird sees the other, that is silent, it is said to be freed from grief. The silent bird refers to the self within. The indulgent bird seeing the silent one indicates an extroverted person becoming introvert. When an agitated person begins to seek the self, he is gradually relieved from grief. The more he identifies with the glory of the self, the more peaceful he becomes. The extrovert is lost in the world, steeped in ignorance, avarana. He suffers from mental agitation, vikshepa. The remedy lies in turning introvert, unraveling the mystery of the self, and recognizing its pristine glory. The reversion to the divine self gives the seeker a satisfaction, contentment. He enjoys a peace and harmony in life. Thus, pursuing his spiritual quest, he becomes one with the self, attains God consciousness. The following mantra covers that state.
So, this is the reference. So, when we read the reference, it becomes clear, what is the question all about. So, now Uncle's question is how to turn introvert, and please give some guidelines to do that. Now, we are using the words introvert and extrovert in a particular way, not necessarily dictionary meaning. So, introverted person is a person who has less desires. That's what we explained in the Radhika's question. So, the quantity of desires is also hardly any quantity, and also the quality of desire is quite pure, unselfish desire. So, less desires. So, that is an introverted person. Extroverted person is loaded with desires. inundated with desires. Quantity is more, and also the quality is quite poor. All selfish, indulgent desires are there. So that's the context in which we are using the word introvert and extrovert. So this is what the group has to understand. So that is number one. Number two, extroverted person remains disturbed throughout his life because he is trying to find happiness in the external world at all levels of his or her personality, and also inundated with desires. And all these desires, unfulfilled desires, they keep on bothering him throughout his life. That's what produces mental agitation. So he is trying to find happiness in the external world where it does not lie. So therefore he remains disturbed. So introverted person, he has understood the purpose of life, that true happiness is within. I am source of that happiness. So therefore to reach that source, I have to wade through my desires. That is where karma yoga, bhakti yoga, jnana yoga comes in. So I'm not getting into that explanation. Fortunately, we discussed that while answering Radhika's question. So that awakening has come because desires are not bothering him. See, extroverted people, there is no way you can tell them to come to the spiritual path, and you can't blame them because they are loaded with desires. So throughout their life, they will keep on saying, no, no time, no time, no time. They're busy fulfilling their desires at all levels of their personality. So introverted person, relatively speaking, you know, who is exposed to this knowledge, his thinking has changed. He has understood the true purpose of life and where true happiness lies. So therefore, he is trying to put efforts, and he includes karma yoga, bhakti yoga, jnana yoga in his day-to-day life, or his life revolves around service, devotion, and knowledge. So that we already discussed. So the practical guideline for uncle, when I say uncle, it is for all of us, for everybody, is periodic withdrawal substituted by knowledge. In addition to whatever you are doing, all of you are sincere seekers, I know that, but that is not enough. You need to withdraw periodically into a spiritual environment. You can't say, okay, I went on a cruise, I take 2 cruises in a year. No, that is not withdrawal. That is also withdrawal. Withdrawal for what? To indulge. You need to withdraw into a spiritual environment. Now, you do it as per your motivation, as per your inspiration. So, we provide 3 such opportunities here every year. That is where these retreats we do. We do one local retreat in Michigan, upstate northern Michigan, and we do in upstate New York. And then January retreat is exclusively meant for class members or e-learners. So we provide these 3 opportunities. Now you may not participate. That's not a point. I'm just trying to give you the purpose behind the whole thing. So that periodic withdrawal is absolute must for any sincere seeker. See, all of you are relatively introvert. Otherwise, you wouldn't be attending these classes for months and years together. But that is not enough. So you have to withdraw periodically into a spiritual environment, which is conducive for your further growth. That is number one guideline. Second guideline is avoid participating in non-essentials of life. You know, unnecessary social media. I mean, do you really have to be on so many groups on WhatsApp? I'm not saying you should not. This family group, that family group, this friends group, that friend. I mean, that's what you'll be sucked into. Do you really have to attend functions on every weekends? Do you have to really have to socialize on every weekend with people? So you have to answer these questions. That is where your mind gets agitated and disturbed, and you you invariably you will find yourself in the company of wrong people. When I say wrong people, meaning people who are gross, who are not conducive for your spiritual growth. So, as a seeker, you will have to put efforts, which is avoid participating in non-essentials. News way, I often give this example. Any person who is on a diet of news, forget about spirituality. That doesn't mean you cannot listen to the news. And whatever, you have to be in touch with the world. You get my point. So each one has to find his or her weakness and put efforts. If I have a weakness for watching news all the time, I'm just giving you as an example. Keep on watching discussions where everybody is screaming at everybody and all discussing what spirituality I am talking about. Or I could have a weakness for all this WhatsApp and all that. A member of 20 groups in a day, there are 200 messages. What spirituality? You know, which dress I wore, where I went on the vacation. This is what people discuss. See, they are innocent. But if you feel you have a goal, you have a mission in life, that's the question. How do I become introvert? You will have to put extra efforts. So, number one, periodic withdrawal into spiritual environment. 3 times we provide that opportunity. You could do it in your own way, it doesn't matter. Number two, avoid participating in non-essentials of life discussed. And third point is satsanga. Satsanga means conducive environment is absolute must. So put efforts to be in the company of conducive people. You can't avoid people all the time, but you must put efforts. Also, what is conducive for your spiritual growth? That's the concept of satsanga. What you watch on the TV, what you read, what kind of material you are reading, what who are your friends, what kind of food you are eating, all that is part of satsanga. Is it conducive for my spiritual environment? So each one has to make that adjustment based on his or her life. See, my life is different. That cannot apply to all of you because for me, zero socializing, zero means zero. Even when I go home, go to India, I have one meal with my family, one meal in a year, but in 1 year. I mean, that is, I have to do that. But you all cannot take that stance. So you need to put efforts. Otherwise, some wedding in India or somewhere in Boston, boom, you pack your bags and go. Most Indians have this weakness. I don't know about Americans. My exposure to Americans is only in Vedanta Academy, and all of them are very sattvic. So I don't know what is happening here. So I will not comment. So some destination wedding in Mexico, you're gone. There's no harm in going once in a while. But if that's your lifestyle, you need to put efforts. This is the point. So you will have to make that adjustment. That's the guideline here. It will not happen automatically. If you are in the company of people who are not conducive, you need to put efforts. And when you put efforts, the beauty is law of demand and supply functions. Bhagavad Gita chapter 2 gives that assurance that objects will not come into your environment and tempt you or distract you. So don't blame the world, don't blame friends, do not blame relatives. You have demand, therefore there is a supply, that particular supply. But when you are genuine, you put efforts, you will find yourself in a conducive environment. And that is where your graph goes like this. So understand this as a principle. And with this understanding, when necessary, you contact the world, even wrong people. I'm using the word wrong in a particular context. It is okay. You will not be deviated. Well, your focus is quite clear, but everybody has to put that efforts. It will, any amount of study will not help there. You get the point? No guru can come and manage your life. This is the point. Hey, why are you talking to that guy? Hey, why did you accept that invitation? I mean, it is ridiculous. So you need to monitor your life, manage your life. scriptures or a guru can only give you guidelines. And based on those guidelines, you need to put efforts. Otherwise, what are we doing? You know? So these are the three guidelines I can think of how to turn introvert. The main thing is definition, uncle, you know, introvert, extroverts. And last 15 years, you're putting a lot of efforts. So you're on the right track. But if you feel you need to make some extra adjustments in certain areas, you need to do that. We all have to do that. I'm not talking only about you. Personally, I have done that. I know many of you have done that or trying to do that. So these are the guidelines. So does that answer your question, Uncle?
Yes, yes, thank you so much. Thank you.
So any doubts on this particular question? Any other doubts from what we discussed today? Okay, all clear? At least something you should say, yes or no. I mean,
Yes, Amitji.
okay, I'm
all clear,
assuming.
Amitji.
Okay, I am
All-
assuming that it's
Yes.
all clear.
All clear, Amitji.
Yeah, at least some reaction has to be there, no? Yeah. Imagine my difficulty. 1 hour I am talking, and in the end I am talking all clear.
Yeah. No, it was, Amaji, it was very, very refreshing and awakening. We tend to fall asleep so quickly.
Correct.
Yes. And I
All right,
think
great. So have a wonderful weekend or whatever. Today is what I forgot now. Tuesday,
Wednesday.
Wednesday. Where are we?
Wednesday.
Wednesday. Yeah. So we'll have question and answer session next week. So we could not. How many questions we did today? 3 or 4?
4.
Four.
Oh, yeah. So and how many questions are lined up? 15, 16 at
Yes.
least.
Yes.
So next week we'll take up Joe's question, Joe and the group. Then we'll take up Radha's question on detachment and dispassion. We'll take up Anna's question on selflessness, and there'll be a few more questions. All right. So good night, all of you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Amitji.
thanks again.
Yeah,
Thank
welcome.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.